As we've come through the month of December and through the Christmas season, it's a good moment for us to pause and look back and say, how has the mission of our parish been unfolding the last month? Remember, our mission is to help our parishioners and our neighbors here in North Anne Arundel County to encounter Jesus through the scriptures, the sacraments, and the charitable work of the Catholic Church. So, how have we been doing? What's our report card? If we look back over the last few weeks. Well, on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, over 2,100 people sat in these pews to encounter Jesus in the Mass, Christ's Mass, and to receive Him in Holy Communion. So we helped a lot of our neighbors encounter God, His grace and His encouragement and His strength to begin the new year. So certainly we led many people to the sacraments. And leading up to Christmas through Advent, we had a lot of charitable outreach, didn't we? We had our angel tree. We gave gifts to over 208 children from families in need to brighten their Christmas. 208 children. And to our food pantry here on campus, over 90 families came in the weeks before Christmas to receive food, to prepare for their Christmas celebrations, to help out them in a time of need. So many people experienced the love of Christ through our charitable outreach at our parish. So well done. We should take some satisfaction in that we are continuing to be a force for good in our neighborhoods. Today is Epiphany, the 13th day of the Christmas season. It's not the last day, though. There's a whole nother week. Christmas goes till next Sunday, the baptism of the Lord. Some people can't hang with us. They just can't party as long as we do. They get tired. The church says, nope, keep doing it. It tells us when to fast, but it also tells us when to feast. Keep celebrating. So, because Christmas is such a significant moment in understanding the meaning of our lives and who we are as humans, because God came as one of us. And there's different parts of that story, isn't there? The birth of Christ in Bethlehem. Today we focus on the significance of the Magi, these three mysterious figures who come from the East. We hear about them in Matthew's Gospel. He's the only one of the four Gospels that mentions the wise men. We saw that they were prophesied, though, in the book of Isaiah, our first reading, that many would come from the east with camels bearing gifts of gold and frankincense. The Psalms tells us that, in fact, kings will come from the east bringing gifts, and they will prostrate themselves before the Messiah. And that's exactly what Matthew describes the Magi as doing. They came from the east, they came to Bethlehem following the star, and down before the child. These sophisticated, educated, wealthy figures realized that we should kneel down before God. And that's what we do every Sunday, isn't it? We try to remind ourselves week by week, kneel down before God, humble ourselves, obey God, put Him first. We need to remember that continually. What is the theme that we can take away? One of the themes of Epiphany is, here comes everybody. What does that mean? These Magi who came, Magi is a Greek word meaning educated or wise ones. But they weren't Jewish. They came from the East. They probably were Arabs. Now you may know that Arabs and Jews traditionally don't get along very well. Not then, not now. It's difficult. Two different ethnic groups. What was God telling us by having these people from the East come to Jerusalem, to Bethlehem? The Jewish religion was for a small group of people, the ethnic group, the Jewish. For several centuries, they were to preserve the belief that there's one God, that God is our Father, that the Ten Commandments are our rule of life. God revealed that to the Jewish people and asked them to protect that religion, that truth. And they did well. But now God comes and says, okay, it's no longer just for you, though. Now it's for the whole world. Now the religion is to be Catholic, which means universal, to adapt to every culture, every place, every time. This is the religion now that can draw the whole world together. If anything can unite us as humans, it's the Catholic religion. Even Arabs and Jews can get along in this religion. Every culture, racial, and ethnic group. It's not easy, but it's possible. St. Paul, in the second reading today from the letter to the Ephesians, shares this. He says, Indeed, pagans now share the same inheritance with us. They are parts of the same body as us. The same promise has been made to them by Jesus Christ. The promises God made to the Jewish people, he now makes to everyone. Anyone who believes in Jesus will be blessed by him, guided and protected by him. Our Catholic religion, in a sense, it's a great equalizer. We've talked about this before, how at Sunday Mass, we all come together, but we're different. Some more educated, some less, some more wealthy, some less, some more healthy, some less. Ethnic and racial diversity, we know at St. Clement's we have a large Hispanic population, Hispanic Catholics. One of the ways our country struggles with getting along with people of different groups is immigrants coming. It's been our history, always difficult to accommodate a new immigrant group. There's a political question, which is significant, but there's also just the daily interaction with others who are different and respecting them and getting to know each other. I remember in seminary in Rome, we lived with Americans, but we took classes with men from around the world. And first day of class, this one course, we all were introducing ourselves. There were 70 men in the class from 55 different countries. Christianity is so diverse, but we were all seeking Christ together. Our experience of the Catholic faith is here in the West, North America, but we know it's growing most strongly right now in South America and in Africa. This diverse religion around the world. As humans, we're tempted to focus on what makes us different rather than what makes us the same. It's difficult to get along with people who are different because we don't have the same understanding. We're not sure what the social expectations are. If we have different languages, it's literally difficult to speak to one another. In the heart of all of us, there's the temptation to disrespect, to put off, to separate from those who are different, right? One of the manifestations is racism. That's kind of one of the more dramatic examples. And we know our country has struggled with it. We had a civil war over it. Kind of ebbs and flows at different times in our history. It seems in the past few years that it seems to be on the rise a bit in our country. Racial conflicts, racial tension. We can see it out there, but we should also see it in here in our soul. We're all tempted in some way. And so we have to acknowledge it, confront it, and resist it. Ask God for the grace to overcome that temptation, not to categorize people, not to stereotype, but to deal with people one at a time individually. That's the challenge, and it's part of the message of Epiphany. Our seminarians were with us for this Christmas vacation, Kenneth and Maurice, who are from Cameroon, and Cameroon right now is experiencing a lot of violence. There's a struggle. And I asked them, well, what's the root cause of it? Is it Christians and Muslims who aren't getting along? He said, no, that's not the problem. Well, is it like a tribal conflict? Two tribes are at war with each other? No, that's not the problem. So, well, what's the difference? Well, there's French-speaking and English-speaking Cameroonians. Like, seriously? Because of a language difference, you're fighting each other and killing each other? But that's what we do as humans. We find a difference and we latch onto it. But it's a temptation. Focus on the similarity, not the difference. Now, it's especially difficult for us in Baltimore to do this, especially today. It's really hard for those who like the Ravens to get along with those who like the Chargers. It's hard to get over this difference. But the quarterback of the Chargers is Catholic, Philip Rivers. So he's one of them, but he's also one of us. Apparently, he was going to Mass this Basilica, 8 o'clock Mass downtown Baltimore. And the rector, who's a friend of mine, said, I'm going to give him a special blessing. I said, you can't give him a blessing on game day. He said, well, I'm just going to give him a blessing as a Catholic dad. He and his wife are expecting their 9th child, apparently. So he needs a blessing. He needs a blessing. But always the challenge, right? Diversity is good. It's part of the beauty of the world that God created. Humans are very different interests, different personalities, different cultures, different histories, different languages. It's good, but it's a struggle. So engage the struggle. Catholic Christians in particular, we should be good at this. We understand the human person in ways that some others don't. because Jesus came as one of us. Christians understand that we are brothers and sisters under one God, the Father. You know, when you're from the same family, you look alike. Humans really look a lot alike. We have little differences, but generally we have two legs, arms, and a head. We're kind of alike. So look at the similarities. And it's our role to be an example of that. We need grace to live it well so we can show others how to do it at our workplaces, in our neighborhoods. So in this new year, 2019, that's a goal for us maybe. Be that witness to others. You know, if you get involved in one of the outreach efforts of the parish, you meet people you otherwise don't meet, people that you might stereotype, but once you learn their story, it changes your perspective. So in this new year, we can show the way, the Catholic Church. Here comes everybody. Amen.